Let's continue with our post-exploitation analysis. This time we're going to attack a Windows 7 virtual machine having two network connections, one of which is internal, and then we're going to see how to pivot through this Windows 7 machine to our XP machine, which is now set up as host only, so I can reach it from Kali. First of all, let's create a payload with veil in order to evade antivirus like we saw in the previous post. So I'm using this file called hotgirls.exe, something alluring for a potential victim. Let's copy it to our Apache server. And let's start Apache service. Okay. At that point, we can prepare a handler to pick up the reverse connection from our Windows 7 virtual machine. And we're going to use our usual multi-handler if I can get MSF console started. You all know the steps here, so I'm not going to comment further. What we need to do is to open a session with Windows 7 and reach out to Windows XP through Windows 7 through the second network adapter on Windows 7, which is in communication with Windows XP. So let's prepare our exploit here. We're ready to move to our Windows 7 machine on the other end. I'm executing the payload and running the exploit. All stuff you guys should be familiar with. You'll notice no antivirus alert goes off, which is pretty good. Our session got open, and so we can also, as we read it, obtain a privilege escalation. But like I showed you another time, we need to bypass UAC first in order to do it, because otherwise guest system doesn't work. So we can achieve a local privilege escalation. We only need the session parameter here and we're good to go. Of course, as it normally is, our user belong to the administrator group. This is pretty common with standalone computers. And we can become system administrator. Let's migrate to another process just for being safe. And at that point, you see the network configuration, and you see that now Windows XP has a static IP address belonging to another network, a Class B IP address that I'm unable to reach from Kali. You see, if I ping it from Kali, it's unreachable. So what we're going to do here is to manually add a route to this network using our session that we have open with Meterpreter with our Windows 7 machine. You see that we have two local subnets on Windows 7, and the first one is a subnet we can't reach from Kali. So we need to pivot to that network. I tried this technique, but for some reason it didn't work. So I recourse to use a interpreter script. I don't care if it's deprecated as long as it works. You'll notice that it added the route manually to this different subnet. So we're now able to reach it. So what we can do now is using NSFlow that works as a port scanner. Not as good as a map, but it tells us which ports are open on our Windows XP machine. So we can start a pre-exploitation stage on our Windows XP machine. You see that it's very slow, but it reaches our XP machine and it tells us which ports are open. You see FTP, SMTP, HTTP, NAT BIOS, and so on and so forth. It's very slow compared with a map, but that's all we got in this case. You'll notice port 445, which is connected to SMB, is open, which apparently looked very promising, but I couldn't exploit this machine by using the very common SMB NAT API vulnerability. You see the target is not exploitable. In fact, if you check the targets, we show targets. This particular XP version, XP Service Pack 3 English, isn't listed within the targets, so I can't do anything to exploit this machine as of right now. I tried different exploits, but so far I was unsuccessful, so I reserve to update this post when I can finally hack into this Windows XP. The problem is we can't use a reverse shell here because this reverse shell wouldn't know which network to connect to. So this is anyway your first step to access the network. We don't know anything before, so we couldn't normally access without adding a manual route. Alright, that's all for today. Bye bye.